Welcome, everybody, to the Clinical Diagnostic Device Finalist Spotlight session of the 7th Annual Digital Health Awards. I'm thrilled to be joined by Matthew Holt, our executive producer and founder of Healthcare Blog and Health 2.0 Conference, as well as Paul Grant, CEO of MedTech Innovator. Today, you'll hear directly from the standout finalists in this important category, companies shaping the future of healthcare across the globe. I'm Bethany Boschert, the show director of the Digital Health Awards, and I'm excited to welcome you. This is my 4th year with the Digital Health Hub Foundation, and it's been amazing to watch how quickly the digital health space continues to evolve, especially in areas like clinical diagnostic device. At the Digital Health Hub, we're here to celebrate the innovators shaping the future of healthcare. Thank you for joining us. I just want to take a quick moment to introduce the Digital Health Hub Foundation, the 501c3 nonprofit behind today's session and the Digital Health Awards. We were founded in 2017 at UCSF with a mission to help the world's best digital health startups grow, scale, and succeed, ultimately improving care delivery across everywhere, let's say, but mainly they're improving outcomes for all. So today our community includes over 30,000 innovators, from early stage founders to industry leaders, investors, payers, and providers. Throughout the year, we run educational programming, network events, and thought leadership series, all leading up to our biggest moment, the Digital Health Awards at Health in Las Vegas, where we celebrate the companies truly transforming healthcare, like you. We're proud to shine a light on this ecosystem and grateful to all of you for being part of it. So congratulations to our 2025 finalists. Your innovation, passion, and impact are helping shape the future of digital health. We're proud to recognize your work on this global stage. Most of you are here. There are 3 best in class that I believe are not here, but I want to take a second to introduce Jason Saltzman, Head of Insights at CB Insights. Jason, are you here to tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
I am.
All
Thank you for
right.
the intro, Bethany.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you all. I'm Jason. I'm the head of insights at CB Insights. We're a predictive intelligence or we do, I've messed this up a few times already today. We do predictive intelligence on private companies, really helping people in innovation, in corporate development, in investing, acquisitions, and partnerships, understand the companies and technologies that are defining the future and their next move in the space, right? So with that, we are excited to partner with the Digital Health Foundation and Health the Conference as the predictive intelligence partner. Hopefully helping everyone that will be there navigate the conference, their partnerships, and the companies that are there just a little bit better before, during, and after the show. So happy to be a resource for all of you. We have some awesome tools and some awesome reports that will be available to everyone attending the conference. And with that, maybe jump into the clinical diagnostic devices market. Right, we're seeing, obviously, I'm going to give the same disclaimer for everything that I've given across all 9 of these panels or finalist awards shows. Please ignore 2021 and 2022. At the end of the ZERP era bubble where money was free and uh, just was getting thrown around willy-nilly. The thing that we would like to focus on here is the rebound in 2025 and the capital deployment that we're seeing across the clinical diagnostic devices space, back above the 2023 and 2024 levels. And if I could extend this chart out a little bit more to the left, we'd see that this is, we're on track to have an all-time high if you ignore the 2021 and 2022 periods. With that, we're looking at also just a market size generally for this space that is predicted to grow at about 6% CAGR for the next 4 years, reaching almost $70 billion by 2030. Right, this is driven by the geriatric population, rapid diagnostics demand, and sort of the immediate clinical decision making pressure that we're seeing, right? Especially the geriatric population and a lot of the care that they require is diagnostics heavy. And so we're seeing more and more funding and more companies working on problems in that space. When we look at the key market segments, we see that a lot of it is focused on um, the point of care solutions and monitoring spaces, right? Focused primarily on things that impact that geriatric population as well, right? The aging population has more cardiac problems, and we see that digital biomarkers are an emerging space where we're seeing a ton of interest in trying to understand how people are aging and how care is delivered to that population. When we look at some of the recent tech innovations, right, we're seeing a lot in oncology and molecular diagnostics, and we're seeing, of course, like every market everywhere across all startups. I can go like this and say AI and say that it is impacting pretty much everything. Uh, when we look at the some of the tailwinds in the space, right, we saw a ton of providers, uh, win new installments during the pandemic, and a lot of them are turning that into a recurring revenue model as they increase their offerings and sort of grow throughout that base. And then we're seeing a ton of partnerships with AI companies, right? Whether it's the foundational model companies or more vertical specific providers, there's a ton that is happening to drive the pace of innovation and the access to the AI, um, everything that AI opens up for clinical diagnostics. With that, I think I will pass it back to Bethany and let her tee up today's finalists.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason. I just want to introduce Paul Grand, CEO at MedTech Innovator. Paul, you're a category champion. You want to say a few things?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Grand, CEO here at MedTech Innovator. We are the world's largest healthcare accelerator. So we see a massive amount of innovation. We've had 12,000 companies apply to MedTech Innovator over the years. And we're really excited about clinical diagnostic devices. They have absolutely changed the way care is delivered, and enabling a lot of the movement from being in the clinic to getting out to less acute settings as soon as possible. There's just so many incredible innovations here that really are making a massive difference on patient outcomes, and lowering cost. And I'm really excited about the companies in this category, which is why I'm proud to be the category champion. And I'm doing this with the Digital Health Awards since it started. So great to be back, and I need a new cartoon image that has a little bit of gray hair. Because I've gotten grayer as we've gone through all these companies over the years. So anyways, great to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. And then I want to introduce Matthew Holt, founder of Healthcare Blog and Health 2.0 Conference, and our executive producer of the Digital Health Awards. Matthew, happy to have you here.
Thank you, Bethany.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks, Paul. Like Paul, I actually had to have my cartoon by Health redone. First guy was far too good looking and didn't look anything like me. The next guy is as much of a stretch as good looking as I can be, but you can see the reality on your screen, sadly. Anyway, all right. So what we're going to do for those of you watching and and just as a reminder for those of you waiting, is that every company here is going to give us a 60-second elevator pitch intro to what they're doing, why they're in this category of clinical diagnostic devices, and why they are the best. 8 of these companies, like 7 we have here, are rising stars, and we only have one best in class. The distinction is really sort of scale and maturity. If you're a rising star, you probably are just getting going, having some really interesting innovations and got going. If you're a best in class, you should be one of the big players in the category. And obviously, all the rising stars we expect to be getting to be best in class pretty soon, and they can always come back in a year or two. So this is a great category. I would just before we start, I would say one line about. So Paul, when he started MedTech Innovator a few years ago and that accelerator, there wasn't much connection between the sort of MedTech side and the device side and the digital health side, the world I come from. And now it's pretty hard to tell the difference, and it's very confusing. People like me who don't understand technology and devices and just used to understand how to email your doctor. Life has got more confusing, but the integration of digital technology, AI, and obviously the med devices and the sensors and the diagnostics is going to be critically important for the future of healthcare to really deliver better personalized care, and you're all going to be a big part of that. So with that, we are going to start, and I will call people's name, and they hope they're ready to go. So first up is Clarion and Brent Ness. Brent.
Hello. Thank you, Matthew. I'm here to talk about 266 million people that suffer from chronic low back pain. I'm not talking about weekend warrior kind of pain. I'm talking about the driver of the #1 cause of opioid addiction. I'm talking about the average surgical success rate for this particular ailment hovering around 47 to 54%, and $2.2 billion being spent on revision spine surgeries every year. What's the problem? It's simple. You can't see pain. Our superpower is that we enable physicians to actually measure the biomarkers inside the discs that are associated with pain. So acids fill discs, and as the disc degenerates a little bit, which we can also measure, the acid hits the nerves and causes pain. This is called a NOCI scan, and it's done on the MRI right down the street from where you live. So in a pain-free and completely objective, safe environment, we're able to identify the discs that cause the pain. Now, the evidence behind this has shown that 54% of the average success rate actually jumps to 97% when a NOCI scan identified discs that are causing the pain are treated. So we're very, very committed to driving this to standard of care because the dollars that we can save, the people that we can help, and the health systems that will thrive in providing the kind of care that everybody wants, which is on target and very, very effective, is why we're here. I think you're muted, Matt.
What an incompetent fool. That's me, not you. Thank you. Clarion, dealing with pain sensing, critically important for us or people with bad backs. Next up is Isono Health and Nida Razavi. Nida.
Hello, Nida Razavi here. I'm CEO of Isono Health. We have reimagined breast imaging, bringing hospital-grade diagnostic point of care close to patients. Our device is the world's first portable automated 3D breast ultrasound that in only 2 minutes, without having any ultrasound skills, any healthcare professional without specialized training can capture high quality MRI-like ultrasound images anywhere. This is an affordable, accessible, and easy turnkey solution. Think about it as an iPhone. Our superpower is the fusion of 3D quantitative ultrasound, which sees tissues as properties of tissue changes when the breast cancer forms, software data while processing raw RF images. So think about it as an iPhone where the device itself removes the barrier of accessing ultrasound, which you don't require any highly trained, skilled specialists. And the applications open a whole new world where AI gives the radiologist a super eye to be able to see what human eye cannot see, characterize the tissue, reduce unnecessary biopsy, and increase early detection. We are a seed stage company and have been deploying our early access customers, revenue positive, and have been recognized globally on the stage like WISH 2024 by Lord Darzi, the academic surgeon who holds the Paul Hyman Chair of Surgery at Imperial College of London, specializing in minimally invasive and robotic assisted surgery. We are a Y Combinator and received $3.7 million in grants from NSF and NCI. We are looking for a bold mission. By 2028, we will be bringing breast imaging to 10 million women, generating $94 million in device revenue. Our mission is to not leave any woman behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Nida. Everyone wrap on the time there, please. Okay. Next up, that was Nida from Isono Health. Next up is Orca Dental AI. Daniel Abraham. Daniel.
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot, Matt. So yeah, I'm Daniel Abraham from Orca Dental AI. We are the pioneers of AI in the dental field. Our mission is to improve and streamline the processes, the digital processes that dentists are involved in more and more these days, taking up more time, more energy, more cost from their bottom line. And what we do is provide benefits in 3 vectors. One is the time cost benefit. So we increase the bottom line by reducing costs. The second one is finding clinical data, which is super critical, which is otherwise very difficult to do in some of the digital images that are involved in dentistry. And the third is providing compliance and safeguards for dental organizations, DSOs within the field. These are our missions. These are things that we excel in. And yeah, we're in a very pivotal time in our company's history.
Fantastic. Okay, that was Daniel Abraham from Orchid Dental. Next up is BioBeat, Jay Helmsworth. Sorry.
No, thank you. BioBeat is positioned to change the trajectory of the leading risk factor for cardiovascular disease, the silent killer, hypertension. Of the 120 million Americans with hypertension, 74% have uncontrolled blood pressure and 35% are misdiagnosed. The current state, 24-hour blood pressure or ABPM as a class 1A recommendation from the hypertension guidelines. The current gold standard cuff-based ABPMs are cumbersome and have poor patient compliance. BioBeat's solution, the patient wears a small cuffless wireless chest monitor for 24 hours, going about their normal activities, sleeping comfortably, working, etc. The device automatically captures blood pressure data throughout the day and night. When complete, the comprehensive report is automatically generated and transmitted to the care provider. And they can toss the device after single use. The AI-powered dashboard gives clinicians actionable insights about their blood pressure. We're one of the most validated devices in BP, have over 25 clinical publications to date. A rare amount of publications. Reimbursement infrastructure is already in place, established CPT codes. And we're really bridging the gap between what medicine knows they should be doing to what we can actually deliver at scale. Thank you.
Fantastic. I have this on my desk. Or it doesn't work very well on the thing, but you can, hopefully yours works better. It's all over the place. But I understand that high blood pressure is a problem, according to my doctor.
Yeah, small little patch.
Fantastic. Beautiful. All right. Next, that was Jay Helmsworth from BioBeat. Next up is Expanded Existence, Robert Masson.
Yes, hi. Thank you. I'm Dr. Robert Masson. I've 37 years of a neurosurgery career, innovating most of that journey. I'm the CEO and founder of Expanded Existence, otherwise known as XX. We're basically pioneering the surgery intelligence industry. We're an AI-enhanced software company that's building a digital twin of every surgeon's every surgery for all of surgery. We're focused on human-enhancing AI. We capture basically all aspects of every surgery, tools, equipment, consumables, expertise, clinical tendencies, sequence patterns, all things relevant to optimize execution of surgery. We've impacted public and private sector in the US and UK. We're ultimately focusing on democratizing surgical excellence. One of the biggest losses in surgical healthcare is loss of expertise and team members and surgeons, and we solve that. We basically are bringing surgery into a category that typically doesn't get recognized, and ultimately we expect to standardize and revolutionize the optimization of best practices in surgery for execution and delivery worldwide. We integrate software, AI, spatial computing, and ultimately all computing devices, but ultimately team members to make every episode of care the safest and most appropriate surgery possible. Thank you.
Fantastic, Robert. Given the amount of complications and variation in surgery, that's a great aim. All right. Next up, we have Thomas. Yeah, we have Thomas. Thomas Nichols, who's from Pratica MedTech.
Thank you. Thomas Nichols, CEO and founder of Pratica MedTech. We've developed Optics DX, a smart wound care device that's embedded in wound care dressings that continuously monitors and captures and analyzes tissue health in real time, including signs of infection, sepsis, oxygen, inflammation, and temperature, all without having to see the patient or removing the dressings. It's allowing clinicians to monitor the healing process of acute and chronic surgical wounds without having to see the patient and remove those dressings. We're utilizing multispectral and hyperspectral and digital imaging technologies to allow Optics DX to detect complications early and transmit data securely through built-in cloud connectivity, automatically updating the patient's EMR for clinical review. Our AI-driven diagnostics alerts care teams at the first sign of trouble, enabling timely intervention, and with predictive analytics supporting clinical diagnosis. What makes our approach unique is that we've integrated diagnostics imaging directly into a wound dressing, turning standard of care into continuous, connected, predictive care. It fits seamlessly into clinical workflows, supports RPM reimbursement, and empowers providers to act before complications occur. With Optics DX, we're transforming wound care from reactive to proactive, improving healing and reducing readmissions, which annually amount to 7.7 million patients being readmitted annually due to infections, and giving clinicians real-time visibility that they've never had before.
Fantastic. And wound care is getting incredibly controversial these days because of some of the money that Medicare has been spending on it, and obviously great improvements there. And bed sores, wounds, what a huge problem for the healthcare system that really needs to be fixed. So great work there. Brilliant. Last of our folks who are here with us for our Rising Stars is Lior Eshel, who's the CEO of Test Dynamics. Lior?
Yes. Hey, Matthew. Thank you very much for having us. Good morning and afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm Lior Eshel, founder and CEO of Test Dynamics. There are over 600 diagnostic imaging procedures done per year in the US alone. This is done under tremendous pressure, causing clinical errors. Some research reporting mistakes in about 30% of the cases. And of course, suboptimal uses of resources in radiologists burnout. AI has a lot of potential to help. There are over 1,200 AI-based solutions cleared by FDA. However, they are all point solutions that often encumber users with information rather than lighten the load. Test Dynamics developed Satori, an AI companion intelligent framework that combines AI insight from multiple sources in a clear, concise way and is configurable to each site's need. It helps clinicians with AI consumption by unifying how AI outputs is consumable and integrating it with their existing workflow and tools. Second, if you are a healthcare administrator, we help with AI adoption by mapping the market and simplifying onboarding and offboarding solutions. We are deploying our solutions massively right now, analyzing over 500K images studies to date and in revenue mode with exciting users. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's great. So the only rising star who couldn't make it is Amit Mehta from Amplifier Health. They're in the business, and for anybody looking at this later, they're in the business of vocal biomarkers for different disease conditions like I believe heart conditions and high blood pressure as well. So that's the round. So that's a quick synopsis of our 8 rising stars. We do have 4 best in class. Sadly, we only have one of them here, but as he is here, we'll talk with we'll hear from Cody Simmons, who is from DermaSensor. Cody.
Thank you. Hopefully showing up, I get some
you should get a prize. It's an attendance prize. Frankly,
I get the attendance.
What do they say? 90% of getting it right is just showing up.
That's right. I try. So no, I appreciate the time. And Cody Simmons, the co-founder and CEO of DermaSensor. For the first time in American healthcare now, when patients walk in and ask their doctor about a suspicious mole, it can now be tested for skin cancer instead of literally the standard of care for hundreds of years, eyeballing it and kind of best guess. So we received FDA breakthrough designation followed by de novo clearance last year. It was a $30 million 8-year development process that started off as a large desktop spectrometer, current cleared commercial product size of a phone. So yeah, very, very exciting start. Skin cancer is more common, all other cancers combined, 5.5 million diagnosed each year. But only 8% of Americans actually, of the at-risk Americans, about 100 million, receive the recommended annual skin exam, even though 99% of skin cancer is curable if detected early. given limited access to dermatologists is really the bottleneck. So we're equipping non-dermatologists, things family doc, internal medicine, OB/GYN, and PCPAs at CVS Minute clinics to now assess suspicious moles or lesions as effectively as in-person dermatologists. 2 of our 8 published studies, that was the conclusion. So first automated device for all 3 common skin cancers, a first that can be used by 1 million physicians. We have over 500 doctors now at over 200 locations using it, completely non-invasive and under 30 seconds. And because of that, average use has been incredible, about 20 lesions per month for PCPs and over 100 lesions per month for dermatologists. We also have several health system customers. So
fantastic. And that to me is one of the greatest benefits of technology and health technology devices, digital. You roll it all together, that you can give somebody who has not got that distinct training basically the skills of some of a real expert in the field and democratize that access to all patients, which, as you say, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a PCP look at my skin. Well, not look, I'll rephrase that, do a proper search for moles and whatever. And we know that, this is one of the devastating cancers, which, is very treatable if you catch it early. So wonderful. All right, really quickly, the other 3 best in class, Baylor Genetics, which is in the genome testing space, Wellsheet, which is in sort of AI integration of data and creating diagnostics out of its space, and Verta Health, which I'm confused as to why they're in this category because they're in general a diabetes reversal rather than diagnostics. I think they may be doing something I don't know about. I'll have to track them down. But with that, you've now heard from all of the finalists, with the exception of the ones obviously on here. And we got some time to discuss what is going on in this space. So Paul, take it away. Please lead the discussion.
Sounds great. First of all, great job on the very, very brief presentations. Those 60-second intros are never easy to do. So great job to you all. It's great to see some of you who I literally just saw in the last few days, Netta, Cody, and others who were just over at the MedTech conference in San Diego. So great to see you guys. And a lot of you have either been in or pitched MedTech Innovators. So great to see you guys again. And those of you who haven't, great to meet you. So I'll start off with, adoption. So ultimately, somebody is a decision maker for this product. And that decision maker, maybe it could be a consumer, maybe it's the patient who's really driving. It's like, I really want that thing. Or maybe it's the administration in the hospital or a doctor, whoever it might be. But for each of you, I'd love to just talk a little bit about who the decision maker is for your product, who actually makes the decision, and related to that, who pays for it ultimately, and kind of what you found in particular that works in terms of convincing people that they should adopt this technology, or what's resonating. So, so who wants to start? Anybody who wants to go?
Well, I can help you out, Paul, and just
Thanks,
stay in
Brian.
order here. In our world, it's really a bifurcated sales strategy or go-to-market strategy where we've got to have the radiology community adopting the ability to take MR spectroscopy, which is different than creating a picture, but it's quantifying that biomarker data that I referenced earlier. So I've got to get buy-in from them to send that raw material data up to the cloud where our SaaS solution can apply our expert AI algorithms to it to bring back to the clinical decision maker, which is a pain management physician, a neurosurgeon doing spine surgery, or whomever you may go to have your chronic low back pain treated. So that data, that report that we bring back, again, remember, we help pinpoint exactly where the pain is coming from. So your left elbow doesn't get better when you operate on the right elbow. Obviously, the spine anatomy is much more complex, but it's that treating physician who's trying to help the people with chronic back pain who heretofore have not been adequately diagnosed. So it's that pain point that we're trying to address.
And so you've got them as the champion, perhaps, but who, like from a financial perspective, makes the decision and just a brief answer on that, Brent. Like who do
we
you
have category 3 CPT codes, but they're radiology codes, right? So it is that radiology relationship that we need to have in place such that they can build the codes and then ultimately gain reimbursement.
Okay, that's great. That really helped Brent. So we can go to Netta next. Netta, you want to give us your thoughts?
Yes, we have designed the system because the automation, the robot takes away, by the way, I have the device here, takes away the job of skilled workers. And we are providing that push to the clinician to be able to acquire ultrasound, whole breast ultrasound image without having a sonographer. Initially, we thought we are only going for under-resourced areas. However, because of a shortage of sonographers and a long shortage of radiologists, everyone is looking for ways to, everyone in every clinic that I'm going to describe which ones are they, are looking for ways that they can maximize their workflow, increase their breast imaging, and maximize revenue generation. Our first customers is going to be breast surgeons, and where the breast clinics are having a high volume of women going to them either because they had a prior diagnostic of breast cancer or because they are having suspicions. OBGYN is usually where the prescriptions are written and women are sent to the radiology center. So we believe providing a tool to get imaging outside the radiology would give everyone a lift and increases the pie. The procedure is already reimbursed by all the insurances, including CMS, for a whole breast ultrasound. So we will enjoy by providing low cost, fast solution, optimizing care at the point of care in a lot of new ways of thinking to it. My dream is that it's like a blood pressure cuff. So you go to CBS, you are able to perform your breast imaging. I hope to see a lot broader adoption across the spectrum.
Okay, and it's a fantastic solution. I've seen it develop for years now, so terrific job on that. But you said, in your vision, it's at CVS. So is it something then that you think, even though there's, reimbursement codes that a physician is going to have to prescribe and someone goes to CVS to have the scan done? Or do you see this literally becoming like blood pressure where, well, it's just so cheap and people just show up and have it done and it costs nothing?
I would say the prescription will be needed, but I don't see a problem where the primary care of Minute Clinic can write a prescription right there if needed.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Netta. We'll go to Daniel.
Yeah, hey, thanks a lot. So in the dental vertical, our customers are of a number of types. So on the one hand, you have the clinicians themselves, for which we save, again, time and cost is a very crucial part of dentistry. But we also provide them with clinical insights that otherwise was very difficult for them to achieve. Otherwise, you need a lot of experience, and a lot of clinicians are not as experienced, obviously, as veteran clinicians. Then we've got the organizations. We help them with regulation and compliance safeguards, which is a whole other issue. And then you've got partners like labs, imaging providers, imaging X-ray providers and systems, which we help them enable and enhance their offerings with our clinical tools. I don't think I mentioned this before, but just to be clear, we have several thousand customers, predominantly in the United States. Again, a mix of clinicians, organizations. These are what you call DSOs in the dental world, and labs, dental labs. And we provide them all with services. Ultimately, the one that benefits the most is the patient. Better diagnostics, better treatment planning leads to better outcomes and more satisfied patients, which is what we're looking for at the end of the day.
So ultimately, is it, value prop is mainly like cost reduction for the dental practice? Like what's what's the biggest driver for those 1,000 customers so far?
So cost reduction, clinical insight. Okay, that's really important. We float crucial clinical information, which is otherwise hard to get to. So those two are already benefiting the user. And then the third is for the organization, but that's more on a compliance regulatory level, which is a whole other offering, but still it's within the same value chain of dentistry.
Yeah, and in your particular solution, you're not adding additional hardware. You're leveraging all the things they already have, or do you also provide some of your own hardware?
No,
It's
It's all software. It's all AI. Send us the image, either through API or through our SaaS platform, and we will do the deciphering and diagnostics and give you the results.
Well, congrats on having 1,000 customers using it. That's great. All right.
Thank you.
Let's move on to BioBeat, Jay.
Yes. So, I look at, we currently have about 130 customers, health systems and physician offices that are utilizing. And, who wants it? It's anyone that is interested in helping manage their patients' hypertension or blood pressure. So, I laugh. A physician once asked me, what specialty manages hypertension? Well, the answer is all specialties manage hypertension. All physicians might have patients with hypertension. So that is kind of the market. A lot of it is just awareness right now. We're the only FDA cleared cuffless blood pressure monitor on the market currently. The nice thing about it, it's had reimbursement for years. It's had a national coverage decision since 2001. It's guideline recommended, a class 1A recommendation by guidelines. It's just right now the current standard of care is a very cumbersome device that no one wants to use. I think CMS in 2023 had about 7,000 instances of it being billed. That's of a patient population of 120 million, they're not even doing a dent into helping transform that disease state. So we've already surpassed that just in the last 12 months, and so we're already kind of overtaking what the current market is. Now it's just a matter of awareness across the market to be able to affect more patients that suffer from hypertension.
And so when you're going into an institution or you're pitching somebody, Jay, and again, getting to the decision makers, the part. So is it the physician who's saying, "Hey, we want to adopt BioBeat," and then it's just a matter of convincing somebody on a value analysis committee? Who's the decision maker who finally says
the physician is going to be the decision maker. Obviously, certainly, if we're going through a health system, there's the approval process for any new product. CV service line manager, it may be the nephrology clinic. It really depends on who is the champion on the physician side and where it's going to be placed. And then physician offices, obviously, usually a simple process of they demo it once and they're buying it by the end of the week. So it's something that, again, all insurances cover it. Well positioned. There's no out-of-pocket cost for the patient. Very simple, easy process.
Terrific. And just really quickly, Jay, and how long have you been on the market?
So, I mean, the device has been approved since 2019. It was our first FDA approval. We did a soft launch in 2024 for our ABPM device. Really launched out with the full approval. That started, well, actually the end of last year, but really since October of 2024 is when we really started to press forward. Very small team but making a lot of headway.
Terrific. All right, let's move on to Robert at XX.
Yeah, hey there, Paul. Thank you. Now I'm going to use our solution as sort of a canvas for healthcare systems and hospitals at large. It's a lot more complicated than I think a lot of tech companies think, and you guys have such a profound educational role for tech development that I'm going to really focus on that. Bottom line, healthcare systems, hospitals, and ASCs are the actual customer, but it's so much more complicated than that. And I think every founder, every CEO really needs to focus on understanding the relative EQ of each and every stakeholder. You've got the C-suite, you've got procurement, you've got, in our case, surgical intelligence, you've got OR director. Of course, you need a surgeon advocate in the Master Surgeon Coalition that we're building. But ultimately, in our category, we're really doing something new for me. I'm not building for surgeons anymore. I'm building for the teams around and behind surgeons so that the entire symphony of surgery is done. So you've got to get buy-in from a variety of stakeholders. And it'd be really convenient if every facility was the same, if every system was the same, but it's not. Even within a system, you're going to see regional differences from facility to facility. So I think all of the brilliant startups that I've seen and all of the tech companies, I think if they're not healthcare ingrained, they need to find someone to put on their team to become healthcare ingrained so they know how to navigate the prism of healthcare, because it's really complicated within organized healthcare. But yeah, the healthcare systems and hospitals pay the bills. It's I think we are ripe for change finally. In 37 years, this market was not ready for change until recently, but it's very, very ready for change right now.
Terrific, Robert. We've seen, other players in kind of surgical intelligence over the years. I know how it's one of those things where, again, people sometimes have homegrown solutions and other things, and then you come in with a much better solution and hopefully convince them to replace whatever they're doing with your intelligence for the whole surgical care path. So I understand how hard it is to get there. And again, like where are you in terms of customers again today?
Yeah, we're in Advent Health. They were an alpha program in Florida, we're in 3 hospitals right now. We're at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. We're in Cromwell in London. We were incorporated in 22 June, so we're 3 years old. We've went commercial earlier this year. We're in the NHS at Stanmore Royal National Orthopedic Hospital. We've got pilot projects in Brazil, and overseas in the Middle East. So we're growing quickly, but we're a fetus. So.
Yeah. Obviously, that's a lot to do in 3 years. So congratulations.
One thing I will say, if you don't mind, we're doing
Yeah.
it differently, though. We're not looking at it from the outside in, we're looking at it from the inside out. And the expertise capture is really our distinguishing feature. We capture surgeon-based expertise for symphony-style surgical execution. Nobody else does that.
All right. Terrific, Robert. All right. Let's move on to Thomas at Predica.
Thank you. Who pays with our Optics DX wound care monitoring device? Hospitals and clinicians make money. We're under a pathway FDA clearance as a Class 2 device under Class LLZ, which is system imaging. It's radiology. The FDA looks at our technology and says it's in the same class as MRI and CAT scans because it's reading film. So that allows numerous HCPCS and CPT codes under the device cost, the remote patient monitoring aspect, and the SaaS within the cloud. So from that standpoint, it's a tremendous asset to clinicians. From an adoption standpoint, we're starting with hospital-based surgical and chronic wound programs, and we're really focusing on acute and surgical surgeons, where infection and readmission rates are the highest. And plus, early partnerships with leading wound centers, IDNs, and academic hospitals will provide the additional clinical validations and reimbursement support under existing remote patient monitoring CP codes. Next, we'll scale through telehealth, home health, post-acute care networks, and the future of hospital at home trend, enabling remote monitoring at scale through our connected platforms and subscription model.
All right, Thomas. So first of all, I love having the actual diagnostics integrated right into the wound dressing. I mean, for post surgery and wound care and all that. That's fantastic, and it eliminates a lot of the headache of having to add something to try and monitor it. I've seen people trying to do it both ways. So and again, like what's the thing that really resonates when you're selling somebody or you're talking to somebody and convincing them to adopt this? Is there something in particular that they go like, yeah, absolutely, this is going to dramatically lower readmission rates or whatever? What's the big driver, and who is that person? Like, who is the decision maker?
So the decision maker is truly the hospital setting, followed by their key surgeons and the areas where we're going to be focusing on. What's really important is that it's how quickly healthcare systems see the economic value of early detection. We knew Optics DX would improve outcomes, but the strong pull from hospitals focused on reducing readmissions and qualifying for RPM reimbursement has been even stronger than expected. There really hasn't been anything of this technology for real-time assessment of wound care available to them. So it's confirming that the future of wound care is predictive and not reactive.
Okay, Thomas, thank you. Last two, and then I got a general question for everybody, more as a panel. So Lior, Test Dynamics. So same question to you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I think in our space, AI medical imaging, it started maybe in 2016 with some adoption. You saw some companies that built specific nerve solutions for specific disease, specific organs, and it's just growing exponentially in the last few years. FDA just keep regulating these models over and over again. What we see when I started my journey, my dad was misdiagnosed with lung cancer. This is what caused me to launch this company and see how AI can really help as a technologist, and how you can fast adopt these models and make them available to radiologists and clinicians. The problem we see is that every AI model that's being regulated is very narrow, very disease specific. So as a radiologist, when you look at the study, you look this in a holistic way, and you want to analyze the case, and you look for incidentals in different areas that you're not supposed to look for. And AI, it's like very point. So you need to integrate many different solutions in terms of, in order to see this full picture. We start when we sell it, we start with the with radiologists basically, and ask the radiologists to think with us what's relevant, what type of clinical use cases you want, and how we can combine these AI models into one view. So basically, you won't need to read or jump between reports or jump between different systems, and basically have one user interface that unified everything and just surface what's relevant and what's the important insights you want to see from these AI models. So we start with radiologists, and then we go up the ladder with IT, of course, which it's also a very good solution for IT because we combine everything. It's just single integration. You don't need to do many contracts, many integrations. You just integrate it once. And then if we want, once we close the contract, we need to go through the CIO, CMIOs and get the value out there. I think the value of our platform and our companion is it's very important because you don't need to deal with all these different players in this market. You need to know them maybe, but we typically not sending you, an Excel sheet with 1,200 solutions and ask you to pick. We talk to you and understand the clinical value and the clinical needs, and then we kind of advising you, which type of models you might need to integrate and how you see the full picture and the holistic view when you read the case.
Okay, Lior. So really, really important area, using AI to eliminate all these different interfaces and all this uncertainty and unifying it. I think it's great. So terrific. Imaging is such an obvious area, to focus on for that. So, great stuff. Cody, as a company that I know really well, I think you're doing an amazing job. And I just would love to hear from you. Same question, again, like who's that decision maker and, why are they adopting DermaSense?
Sure. And real quick, first off, I love that Matt and Paul, you guys are co-hosting this because Matt, the first competition we ever won of any kind was Health 2.0 about 8 years ago. And it was for the consumer track, which was ironic because ultimately the FDA is like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
We were both thinking ahead of the game, some of the FDA wasn't joining us, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. And then Paul, of course, your pitch competition a couple years ago. So anyway, it's great. You guys are hosting this. Who's paying? Yeah, and our focus is both private practices and health systems. About 2/3 of the 300,000 PCPs are employed. But of course, private practices are relatively easy. About our sales cycle is about 22 days on average for private practice, entire sales cycle, which is great. Who's paying? We just announced the 16 million Series B and that we surpassed 20,000 lesion scans or procedures in the first 15 months now of device use. Traditional payers, we're definitely overrepresented with concierge care, executive health, med spas, right? Kind of cash pay. So there's certainly a portion in which the patient's paying. I'd say it's around 25% of our couple hundred accounts. But the large majority kind of document their clinical work and the device use as the clinical work is part of E&M codes, which I think there's been very, very little challenge with that, right? Because technically, PCPs could document ICD-10 codes for suspicious lesions and things like that without the device. They don't need the device, but practically, they're not doing it or not doing it as often as they could because I think, Matthew, like you mentioned a half hour ago, when's the last time a PCP really did a rigorous skin exam? So I think it's kind of unlocking a capability in a sense. But then also the device procedure itself, we're seeing pretty good receptivity to from payers also. We did not, or at least not yet, do a Cat 3 code because, we applied to TSET. There's all these kind of AI codes and potential, what may change there. And we've just seen and heard so many negative experiences with Cat 3 codes basically being immediate denials, and you got to kind of claw back and work through that with payers. So the device code's most often being billed under a miscellaneous code, which at least payers kind of consider on a one-off basis. And, it is a bit more work for the clinic. But, a bit more work for actually getting paid something is better than slightly less work and getting paid nothing, we thought. So that's been working out surprisingly well, actually, for us. And so we might try going actually straight to Cat 1 code because, for the RUC survey, you only need a couple hundred doctors. We already have, 600 using it. Should be thousands by the end of next year. So, yeah, that's kind of our approach. And
All right. Lightning round, 10 seconds each, literally. Just give me in literally 10 seconds one big win you guys have had recently that you want to just tell us about. One big win, something amazing. Cody already told us he just raised a $13 million round or whatever it was. Anybody who wants to say anything, one big win, and we'll just go in order again. Start off again with Brent.
Sure thing. I have 3 payers in London where I am right now who are actively reimbursing for NOCI scan at the London clinic.
Fantastic. Netta.
We closed this final seed round of financing. We kicked off 800 patient study trial at 5 sites yesterday, UC Davis included, and some other ones. Yeah, I told you to. And we won a grant of $2 million from NIH. This is all this year.
Terrific. Jay.
Yes, currently working with 8 of the certified hypertension centers across the U.S. So adding to our validation and acceptance.
Terrific. Robert.
We are extremely excited to be looking at commercializing the NHS, and everything is going that way, and good enough is not good enough in surgery. So we feel some gravity.
Yeah, commercial in NHS. Awesome. Thomas.
This spring, we won the Octane OC Innovation Pitch Competition against 23 other incredible technologies. We were a finalist in the Octane High Tech Awards in the clinical diagnostic category, and we've been a recipient of an NIH Phase 1 grant.
Terrific. Lior.
We've been part of the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator program and fully deployed at Cedars-Sinai. We have a lot of other academic medical centers and health systems that are looking at our platform. We will be deploying 3 additional sites this year and growing from there.
Terrific. Cody, close us out.
sure. And this isn't recorded or public, is it, Paul?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Oh, crap. Okay. I was like, okay, so there's a couple big things we can't quite announce yet, but working with one of the largest distributors in the country and one of the largest health groups in the country. But that should be any week. But no, I'll recap the 16 million Series B and that we just surpassed 20,000 lesion scans or procedures.
Terrific. Hey, listen, great job, everybody. Matthew, or host, back to you.
Okay, fantastic. So that was brilliant. Just to recall those watching this, so you just heard from Aclarion, which is doing that and I'll summarize badly, but you can watch me, pain tracking. Isono Health, which is a new type of breast cancer ultrasound for breast care. Orchidental, which is getting clinical data out of AI images. BioBeat, which is new kind of device in high blood pressure. XX, that's surgery intelligence diagnostic platform. Pratika MedTech, which is the real live wound care tracking. Test Dynamics, which is taking AI diagnosis outputs from medical imaging. And Derma Sensor, which is the skin lesion democratization device. You did not hear from in the Rising Star category, Amplifier Health, which is vocal biomarkers. They were able to be here. And the ones you did not hear from in the Best in Class session were Baylor Genetics, which is genetic screening, Wellsheet, which is delivering diagnosis insights from EHR data, and Verta Health, which is delivering coaching and diagnosis and real-life tracking of people in their reversible diabetes. So that is your clinical diagnosis device category. Bethany is going to wrap us up and tell us where you will find us all across health on Monday.
Mark your calendars, everybody. Monday, October 20th, where we crown our winners live across 4 stages at Health in Las Vegas. So this schedule is on our website under the 2025 header. There's a subcategory called 2025 Grand Finale schedule, I believe, and every stage has an add to calendar button. So you can find the diagnostic stage there. It's the second one, I believe, and you can add that time to your calendar.
And it's actually on the diagnostics. There is a diagnostics.
And don't forget to join us afterwards at Chica and the Venetian. Yep, where DJ Klesko will be spinning beats from Taylor Swift, and we'll toast the winners and celebrate with the entire digital health community. So thank you, everybody. You did great. Congrats on being a finalist, and can't wait to see all of you at Health. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Paul.